Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820 Chicago's Progressive Talk. Welcome to The Gailey Show. I am your host, John Parker. I feel like I've been all over the radio today, so I'm really glad to be back home here at The Gailey Show on AM 950 and on WCPT. All right, we've got a lot to get to here today, obviously. So much still happening in Minneapolis with ICE and everything that comes along with that as regards to the Trump administration. We're going to talk about Target Corp. Where are they in all of this? They've been really quiet, but a meeting is supposedly happening today with over 100 clergy. So we're going to check in on that story. But first, I want to start, and you're going to bear with me here. We're going to go back in time a little bit to the secret war in Laos. This was a war fought in the Kingdom of Laos right next door to Vietnam in the mid-20th century. And during that war, there was a Hmong nurse, Chua Tao. And while she was there, working as a nurse, she helped a Lao woman deliver 2 kids. They were twins. And this mother wasn't able to care for them, to keep them. So the nurse, Chua, she took one of the kids, a baby boy, that she named Song Li. And another nurse took the other twin. Chua raised this son along with all of her other kids, and they came to the United States, where they became U.S. nationalized citizens. She was recognized as a nurse. Tao was recognized as a respected medical professional, trained through the IVS, had served as the head of the Samthong and Bansan hospitals, was known for treating American soldiers, U.S. personnel, including Pop Buell and General Vang Pao, right, during her lifetime. She actually just passed away in December of this past year, December 26th, 2025. Memorial service is scheduled in California for the first week of February. Yesterday, Sunday, in St. Paul, ICE agents broke in to the home of that child, now a grandfather, Song Li Scott Tao. They forced him out into the cold. And for folks who aren't in Minnesota right now, we're in negative degrees yesterday, much colder when you take into account the wind chill. They forced him out into the cold in just his boxer shorts and Crocs. They put him into an SUV, despite the fact that everyone's saying he's a U.S. citizen, he's a U.S. citizen, he's a U.S. citizen. They banged down the door, yanked him out of the house, put him in an SUV, drove him around for an hour, ran his prints, and then brought him back, where they realized, oh yes, he is a U.S. citizen. Oh, he doesn't have a criminal record. And they dropped him off back home. No apology, no explanation. This detail coming from the GoFundMe page put out by Luansi Mua, who is the sister-in-law of Song Li Tao, where she shares all of this history about Song Li and his adoptive mom, who worked for the United States and supported the United States during the secret war in Laos. This follows closely on a lawsuit that the ACLU filed last Thursday. And this is important because the story here greatly mirrors the story of one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit that the ACLU just filed 4 days ago. In that lawsuit, one of the plaintiffs is 20-year-old Mubashir Khalif Hussein. In the Cedar Riverside neighborhood of Minneapolis, for folks in Chicago, that is the neighborhood where we have the largest density of Somali people in the Twin Cities. He was going to lunch last December when masked ICE agents detained him. He kept telling them, "I am a citizen, I am a citizen," kept offering them his ID, which they refused to look at. Instead, they put him into a headlock. They took him down to the Whipple Federal Building at Fort Snelling. They shackled him, processed his paperwork, took his fingerprints, didn't give him any medical assistance, didn't give him any water, and then said, "Oh, yeah, okay, you can go." Hussein said in the press conference last Thursday, quote, "At no time did any officer ask me whether I was a citizen or if I had any immigration status." Hussein goes on to say, quote, "They did not ask for any identifying information, nor did they ask about my ties to the community, how long I had lived in the Twin Cities, my family in Minnesota, or anything else about my circumstances," end quote. After his release, Hussein walked by ICE officers and protesters earlier this month and recorded a scene on his phone from a public sidewalk. And a car comes by with federal agents driving past him, and an agent rolls down the window, takes his pepper spray, aims it right for Hussein's face, and shoots. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we are dealing with here. We are dealing with a militarized police force that we are being told is out to find the criminals, the worst of the worst. And today, Monday, January 19th, Kristi Noem is out there saying that, "Oh, we've arrested 3,000 people." How many of those people are U.S. citizens? How many of those people are like Sung Lee? How many of those people are like Mubashir? No criminal records, U.S. citizens being dragged out into freezing weather, negative-degree weather, and just your boxer shorts, being pepper sprayed in the face. The lawsuit, we will see where it goes from here. Obviously, since it was just filed on Thursday, we have to wait to see what the outcome is going to be, if the judge is going to issue any type of restraining order against the Trump administration to stop them from doing what they are doing. Over the weekend, the U.S. District Court Judge, Judge Menendez, issued a restraining order and told ICE that you have to give protesters their First Amendment rights. You can't pepper spray them, you can't detain them, you can't arrest them for doing what the First Amendment allows them to do. Today, the Trump administration is supposed to be responding to the lawsuit filed a week ago by Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, joined by Mayor Khalid Yang. Mayor Khalid, I think, Jim, can you check that for me? I'm blanking. I apologize, Mayor. From St. Paul, and Mayor Jacob Fry from Minneapolis. We'll see what they say today in response to that lawsuit. We had hoped that Judge Menendez would issue a temporary restraining order to cease all ICE activities within the Twin Cities, but that she declined to do so last week. But she said that she was keeping this on the front burner, and Mayor Khalid in St. Paul was joining that lawsuit with Attorney General Keith Ellison. I'm going to bring in now my executive producer Jim Pounds. Jim, your thoughts on what we're seeing here? We're seeing a militarized police force that now is just going in and grabbing people and creating these images of violence and terror. And then they've got their people going on to the Sunday morning talk show saying, you are all selected. They're accusing us of selectively telling stories. We're selectively showing videos. They're like, all these videos that you're showing of these arrests, you're not showing the whole thing. You're not showing the beginning of the video, which is where people are assaulting ICE officers. That's the spin that they're narrating here. And it's like, really, we're showing the whole video of ICE breaking into a home and taking a grandfather in his boxer shorts into the freezing cold, shoving him into an SUV for an hour, and then finding out, oh yeah, he actually is a United States citizen. If you would have taken the 5 minutes, the 90 seconds that it would have taken to look at his ID and go, yeah, that is a driver's license. That is a passport. We got nothing here.
Well, there was a recent story by a reporter who attended a job fair for ICE and was offered a job without ever having anything other than a 5-minute conversation. And I think she used the word agent a couple of times in her resume, and they offered her a job. So backing up a little bit, the people on the street, I don't care if it says police or if they've got little brown uniforms or helmets or guns or whatever they've got. These are untrained, unprofessional thugs. Most of them, many of them, are January 6th insurrectionists. Many of them are gun show dropouts and losers who couldn't get a job doing anything else. So the important thing is that they hate, which is what the people who like Trump are haters, and they like other haters. So yes, they are haters, and they're exhibiting your hatred for people you don't like, but none of that is legal. None of it is moral. And if the immigrant population is like the rest of the population, about 15% of them probably have criminal records, not significant criminal records, not the numbers that they're talking about. About 300 people maybe have some criminal record.
We are going to take a break here and continue this conversation when we come back. You're listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
It's no secret that medical care costs are soaring, with nursing home and skilled nursing care costs being some of the highest. You don't have to deplete your savings in order to receive long-term care. At Schroman Law, we work with families to develop and implement strategic planning for medical assistance for long-term care, for assisted living, nursing home care, or home-based care. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation at schromenlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Hi, this is Frank Brown with Minuteman Press Uptown. It's election season. If you're campaigning for a candidate, your outreach needs top quality union printed materials, from direct mail and yard signs to door hangers, buttons, t-shirts, and flyers. Minuteman Uptown is your union shop to get people to the polls. We print everything. We'll keep your candidate top of mind, target your message with a laser focus, and maximize your voter turnout efforts. Get started today at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Hey, Francois, have you made any New Year's resolutions?
No.
Well, mine is to learn some French. Can you help me?
Bien sûr.
How do you say this? Can I buy you?
Est-ce que je peux t'acheter
Macaroons from Nicolette's.
des macarons de Nicolette's?
Now, say it all at once.
Est-ce que je peux t'acheter des macarons de Nicolette's?
Oh, absolutely. I'll have a box of raspberry rose, blueberry cheesecake, and chocolate.
Mais c'est quoi ça?
Thank you, Francois. You can order them online at nicoletsmacaroons.com or visit their store in Plymouth. Merci.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been telling you about my friends at Snap Construction, who are arguably the most well-reviewed exterior construction company in the metro. Don't just take my word for it. Take a look at all their reviews online. Winter is the most cost-effective time of the year to complete your construction project. A majority of Minnesotans choose to have their work completed on their home in the summer when they should be enjoying the weather. As a result, the demand for labor in the summer is much higher. The most cost-effective way to improve or restore your home is in the winter due to the lower demand. Right now, Snap Construction is offering an additional 30% off of labor to the AM 950 listeners on your next construction project between now and the end of February. Call 612-333-SNAP and mention AM 950 for an additional 30% off. As always, Snap Construction stands by their work with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Don't wait to get a free estimate by calling 612-333-SNAP or find them online at snapconstruction.com. Financing options available.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526, 612-919-5526, or autotech.org.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I am John Parker. We are coming up on the bottom of the hour. I'm joined in studio by my executive producer, Jim Pounds. Jim, before the break, you were talking about how people are going up to these job fairs and they are, just signing up, and some of them may not have the actual qualifications to get the job. And we've been seeing a lot of folks coming out since the shooting death of Renee Nicole Good saying that these folks aren't getting trained or the training they're getting isn't complete. And that may be true. I want to say that two things may be true here. But when you look at these videos of what they are doing and how they are going into these homes, when you look at the video of how they went in yesterday and detained Sung Lee Scott Tao from his home in his boxer shorts in the cold, is that I don't want this to get labeled as a failure of training, because that to me, it's like, I don't want that excuse out there. This is not a failure of training of what we're seeing here. And I'm even a little resistant to the idea of Jonathan Ross, the man who shot Renee Nicole Good, saying, well, he obviously wasn't trained because he's standing in front of her car with his cell phone out and his hand on the holster, and he's standing in front of the car, and they shouldn't be standing in the front of the car like that. That to me are we talking about a question of training here? Because I think they are being given either orders or they're being, amongst themselves as they're driving around going, how can we be the most intimidating right now? How can we cause the most fear and scare people right now? That seems to be their MO, not necessarily what is the correct training that they should be getting right now. And I'm going with specifically to the DHS bill that's coming up here. But Jim, I want to get your reaction to that.
Well, I guess what frustrates me is that these people look like officials. But what has fueled the Trump administration, what fuels Stephen Miller, what fuels Christine Noem is hatred, sincerely. And the people who would answer a question of a reporter and say, yeah, I don't like exactly what they're doing, but it has to be done. Let me draw a parallel. Let's say they arrested 3,000 fat old white guys to find 300 criminals. In other words, they drag 3,000 fat old white guys out of their house and they beat them up and they rough them up. And then they figure out we've got 300 people that have jaywalked and they've shoplifted, and a couple of them have actually committed burglary. That's not policing. Policing doesn't roust.
We're not supposed to be doing policing.
But investigation or what do you, immigration control, you don't roust out 3,000 people and beat them up to find 300 criminals. Nobody would agree with that. Nobody in your town would want 3,000 of your citizens beaten up to find 300 criminals. That's not police work. That's not any kind of investigative law enforcement. That's hatred fueled from the top, in the middle, and right down to the trailer park where the last person that supports Donald Trump lives. They're all fueled by hatred, not by the kind of, hard slow, methodical police work that's needed, investigative work. That's why these people have, it's hard to find them, because you would have to do this kind of illegal stuff, right? To find the needle in the haystack. But you can't live in a society like that. They're treating us like this, but they're going to come treat you like this if you don't stop them now. If you don't call your Republican representative and demand that they stop now, they're going to come to your city next. So stop them now.
So on the idea of stopping, we have the DHS bill that is up for a vote by the end of the month.
Yep.
January 30th.
Yep.
And this is where I am concerned. And I was looking into this today because there's apparently no good way forward on this. In the House, the Republicans can pass a bill for ICE funding it. No problem. They've got the votes to do that. In the Senate, they don't have the votes to do that. There'll be some Democrats that need to vote with them to get that funding passed. I was hoping it would just be very easy and go, oh, well, no, there will be no funding for anybody. We will shut down the government until they cave and say, we're going to stop this ICE activity the way that we've been doing it. The end. No more. Apparently, though, there is a stopgap funding measure that would give the Trump administration even more freedom and leeway than they have right now. So the risk that the Democrats apparently are going to take is that if they try to shut down the government, there's this gap funding mechanism that can be used that's got way less restrictions on it for the Trump administration in terms of how they want to move money around. And so now we're trying to get this, work around these compromises, which I just feel is a bunch of BS, frankly, because we shut down the government. The Democratic Party shut down the government. No, let me rephrase that a third time. The Republicans shut down the government because they didn't want to extend the subsidies for health care for folks who are on the Affordable Care Act. And they claimed that they would do that, reopen the government, and give you a separate vote, which they weren't going to give you until the Democrats in the House forced the issue. The House voted for it. Now we're just waiting on the Senate. So there's their good faith negotiations, right
Worthless.
there. They have to be forced to do it.
Right.
But part of the issue that I'm seeing is how can we put in these training policies, and how can we address, these little guardrails apparently. And that to me does not seem to be sufficient to meet the moment. And we are looking at this is 10 months now until we have an election in November, and it is 12 months until we would actually get sworn in a new Congress. So we're dealing with a year still before we even have any type of leadership change that can affect any meaningful pushback against the Trump administration. And so here is a thing where how are the Democrats going to respond? And I'm asking that as a resident of Minnesota who's sitting here and seeing 3,000 overly armed, masked
cowards,
agents driving around here. I mean, here you can come up to stores now and they're closed. They're open, but the doors are locked.
Yep.
You have to knock on the window and they come and they let you in.
Yep.
There are restaurants that don't do dine-in anymore. It's takeout only. There are restaurants that are just saying, you know what, we're going to downsize, and when our lease is up, we're going to stop altogether. Yep. I mean, the restaurant scene in the Twin Cities right now, these small owned businesses, locally owned businesses look like COVID all over again. You have hotels that are shutting down.
Yep. The Republicans are the most anti-business. This group particularly.
But my point, I have to come up on a break here. My point is not a business situation. My point is that they are shutting down the Twin Cities.
Yep.
And I'm not comfortable with them saying, well, we got a new training policy and that's why we funded ICE. That's not going to cut it, Dems. More after the Gailey Show after this break.
This is Santita Jackson, Minneapolis, St. Paul. I couldn't be more excited about starting our days together, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. Central on the Progressive Voice of Minnesota.
Are you planning a gathering for your family, friends, or work? Then reserve space at the Park Tavern. The Park Tavern offers private and semi-private spaces, and they can accommodate any size party, large or small. They have bowling, food, and beverage packages for any budget. And remember, there are no room fees and no minimum spending requirements. And for more information or to schedule an event, call 952-929-6810 or go to parktavern.net. Make your next get-together the best get-together with help from the Park Tavern.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Pretty much everybody I talk to is ready to leave 2025 behind, so what better way to do that than quite literally have Zero Res come over and clean that 2025 dirt out of the house. Pretty much any surface in your home can be Zero Resified, from carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, and so much more. Zero Res can take care of it all, so it's time to call the cleaning pros. Start your freshest year yet in 2026 with Zero Res's biggest sale ever in celebration of the new year, and wash 2025 right out of your home with this deal. This month you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 and a free hallway, plus 15% off regularly priced services like air ducts, upholstery, area rugs, tile, hardwood, and more. Call 952-0RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
In today's uncertain times, Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces believes that a fire can add comfort and security to your life. At Woodland, our mission is to connect you to a place for fire that works.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces installed our wood stove years ago, and we still love it. Watching the fire, feeling the heat is a joy we experience every day, and knowing we have a reliable heat source makes us feel snug and safe.
There are many choices in wood, gas, or electric. For diversity in styles, at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we display over 180 models, and 35 of these are burning displays. You can experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Whether wood, gas, or electric, find a fire that warms your heart, a fire that adds comfort and security to your life. See the many choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, located on the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis, and online at woodlandstoves.com.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces since 1977. For over 48 years, our slogan has been out of the ordinary products and services. Our mission is to get you a fireplace that works in your life.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 2 below. Then Tuesday, a slight chance of snow with a high of 13. For more than 40 years, the Great Wall Restaurant has been serving up Szechuan and Mandarin favorites. The Great Wall is located just north of 50th in France on the Minneapolis-Edina City line. Check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
You're listening to AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota.
Welcome back to The Gailey Show, coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 20, Chicago's Progressive Talk. It is 33 minutes after the hour. What we started talking about before the break was the DHS funding bill that's coming up here in Congress, a vote by or around January 30th. And I'm really curious for Minnesotans, if you're listening in the 2 o'clock hour, what do you want to see from that bill? Do you want to see Democrats shut down the federal government to stop ICE activity? If you want to see a compromise, what is the compromise that you want to see there? I am wrestling with it myself. I don't feel like training, we're going to approve, $10 billion, but the only thing we're going to put in place is training. That to me seems a little, like, really? Do you see what we're dealing with right now? And you're just going to throw in some training. But I'm curious for Minnesotans, if you're if you're listening in the 2 p.m. hour, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Do you feel like the Democratic Party should shut down the government to stop ICE? If you don't think they should shut it down, what do you think the compromise should be around the funding and the guardrails that need to be put in to stop ICE, essentially. What are your thoughts? 952-946-6205. Before we continue on, I do want to thank the folks at the Stephanie Miller Show and Stephanie herself for having me on this morning. That was really lovely. And also Tom Hartman has been really, really gracious with his time. Basically, I go on there at 11:50 every morning to give an update of what's happening here in the Twin Cities, and I know WCPT and WVON and Civic Media have also been very gracious in having me come out there, and I'm really grateful to do that because there's a lot of folks that are doing some excellent journalism, and more so than I am. But I'm grateful to be a representative and share what's happening here in the Twin Cities. But for this show, and for our time here together, I am curious, folks, what you are thinking about, because I get to talk all the time about this, but we are a talk show. Jim, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, just to clarify, I'm not saying all they need is training. What I tried to do with that formula was show we're harming 2,700 people to get to 300 people that might have committed some sort of a crime. So you wouldn't do police work like that. So I don't think we should be roughing people up. I think it should be investigative, and it's hard, I know, and it's slow, but that's how you do police work. I'm giving police folks credit for being deliberate about what they're doing and not saying, well, we hate everybody that might be a criminal. This isn't a country where we arrest people or we put them in a car because they might be a criminal. You've got to have some reason.
Well, no, we are that country.
Well, we are. We have become, because of we've never had a president that hates the people in the United States like this.
We have Lenny in Minneapolis wants to share thoughts on federal funding. Lenny, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Well, how are we all doing right now? Lenny, that's the big question. How are we all doing?
Personally, I'm okay. What's going on here is an abomination. I'm totally opposed to any funding and shut the government down. The federal government. It's been heading this way since Reagan. It really has. I mean, Reagan. Remember Reagan and Bush? They blocked funding for AIDS research for the federal government.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. They've been. Now everybody's getting a taste of it, not just the gay people. So. So I'm totally opposed to it. They shouldn't. That shouldn't even exist. Homeland Security. That's something the Nazis used.
Yep.
So that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Lenny.
Appreciate the call, Lenny.
That's great.
I mean, DHS. It's interesting you say that that Lenny says that because DHS was created after 9/11 and was considered such a huge revamp of the U.S. federal government in so long, and so much of it was about the monitoring and surveillance and the taking away of civil liberties of Americans to fend off this supposed terrorist evil that was never really, defined, and it was deliberately not defined to make us all get used to the idea that there was some unnamed terror out into the world that was trying to harm us. And so we needed to have this entire Department of Homeland Security apparatus to constantly be surveilling us. And now also, we have the introduction of ICE in there. And here we go.
Hideous.
So that concept of that we see so many authoritarian countries doing, and all of us that were all back then, we were attacked. Yeah, we were attacked for very specific reasons and by specific people and by specific threats. That is what we should have been responding to. That is what progressives were saying in the early aughts. And we were all, oh, you're anti-America, you hate America, you want the terrorists to win. And you were all over. We weren't overblown, as it turned out. This is exactly what we were warning about. Oh, well, at the time, no one would ever do that with ICE. No one would ever do that with DHS. No one would ever act that way. So we can have all this power that we want. Oh, and here we are.
Well, it took a president that hated most of the country. And now we have one. We have one who hates the overwhelming majority, including the people who voted for him. And if you really go into your heart and say, is this America? Dragging people out of their house, old people out of their house, and driving them around until you determine whether they're okay? No, that's not America. Donald Trump's America is not America.
Well, I mean,
it's not what America should be.
We could see. This is the thing that's really hard about what we're seeing right now is that it's not an America that we have lived, but it is America. And that's the part that really gets me here. The modern police force, as we understand it now, started as groups that the organizational parts of it was started to persecute, find, and arrest slaves who had escaped. Right? And when we look at all of the organized terror by the federal government, by states governments against Black communities, against Indigenous communities, of coming into queer spaces for no reason whatsoever, and just coming into a space and just start beating on people, arresting them, putting them into trucks and driving them down to the police station. I mean, this is where I get like, what we're seeing with the Trump administration is new, but at the same time, it's not new. And it's like, is this the perpetual fight that we're going to constantly be having in the United States of America? Is these two forces that are constantly, one force that's like, Americans for whites only, white straight cis people only, and America for everybody. You know what I mean? It's like we have two visions of America here. And is this what it's going to be for the rest of our lives? Just constantly having to sit there and talk about, well, is the officer justified in shooting somebody? Is this, this is literally the insanity of the American judicial system right now, where on one side of the law, it takes 20 years to get a capital punishment case through all of the courts. First, in just trying the case, seating the jury, discovery, doing all of that stuff. Then the appeals process. Then okay, yes, we're going to do the capital punishment, and then it's going to go all the appeals to that, up to the Supreme Court. We're talking about decades here. On the other side of the aisle is capital punishment that is invested in one single individual's implicit biases and bad thinking in a 15-second moment that determines whether or not you live or die. So we have two forms of capital punishment in the United States. One takes decades and involves hundreds of people. And one takes exactly one person with a gun and one bullet and 5 seconds, and whatever he or she or they determine to be what's right in the moment. And we're just going to keep having that conversation over and over and over every single day. That question then is America to me. It's not whether or not America is the country that kidnaps people, grandfathers, out of their home in their boxers and drives them around, even though they're saying, I have ID. Let me show you my ID. I'm a citizen. It's the question, that question of, are we still doing that? That's what America is.
Maybe there are two Americas. There really isn't one America, perhaps. I find myself thinking that there really are two.
America is the place where you go to have the conversation of, is an individual with a badge or the words ICE on their person,
blouse,
on their whatever, are they justified in shooting somebody in 5 seconds? That's where you go to have that. America is where you go to have that debate. America is where you go to have the debate about vaccines. America is the place where you go to have the debate about whether queer people actually exist or not. That's America. Asking the question, being forced to have that conversation over and over and over again. And somebody who isn't in that conversation yet right now, what's happening here in the Twin Cities, is Target Corp. For folks in Chicago, Target Corp is like maybe the biggest, but certainly the most storied Fortune 500 company in the state. I know we have the most Fortune 500 per capita. Outside of New York, but this is a big corporation here. And today, just before noon, there were a bunch of protesters singing anti-ICE songs in West St. Paul at a Target location there. They were gathered inside the Target, attempting to get Target officials to say to ICE, you cannot use our parking lots anymore. And it's even gotten to the point now where I'm so accustomed to the idea of ICE in Target parking lots. Every time I pass a Target, I'm always looking in their parking lot, like, are they there right now? Are they staging in there? And last Thursday, a group of over 100 clergy did a sit-in in Target's headquarters in downtown Minneapolis. It was organized by the Isaiah Group, and they claimed that they did get a sit-down with the outgoing CEO that sit down is supposed to be happening today. Now, I haven't seen anything on their social media or anything about what is going on with them, but it is interesting to me that they have been so quiet. One, because of what's happening in their stores. You know, when they were being attacked by right-wing people, and because right-wing people were so upset that there was a pride section during June month, they immediately had a lot to say about what was happening in their stores and the violence happening in their stores. And they had a lot to say about how we had to get rid of all of this product. Well, now you have ICE agents going in there, arresting people. You've got Bovino going in there, going after people. Their parking lots. I mean, why would you want to go to a Target right now if you know that ICE is going to be there?
Don't go.
And they're not just going after people they're going after citizens. They're going after anybody that they want to go after right now. Isn't it interesting to me that Target hasn't said anything yet? So we're going to be following that story to see what the folks from Isaiah Press, who were reaching out to Target last week, Target did not confirm that a meeting was even going to happen today, even though the organization, the group of clergy, said that it was going to happen today. So I'll be curious to see what comes out of that meeting, because they are a leader in the state when they want to be. And we had a whole conversation with Matt McNeil about this. Like, I will not be going back to Target. Like, they've burned their bridge with me. I'm done with them.
Yep.
But that being said, if they came out right now and said, get out of Minnesota, we are going to do everything we can right now to get ICE out of there.
Yep.
I would be actually interested in having that conversation with Target.
You mean showing a spine? That would Target showing a spine.
If they came out hard and fast and said, get out of our parking lots, get out of our state, and used all their power to make that happen, I would have a different look on to give to Target right now. Anyway, we're going to come back and talk about some theater to end the day gently. You're listening to The Gailey Show.
I am the amazing Cassandra, a mechanical fortune teller who can predict the exact date and time of your passing. But 5 teenagers have died, and I alone have the power to save them if they can pass my test of song. Their musical trials begin January 16th at Lyric Arts Theater in Anoka. Ride the cyclone along with them at lyricarts.org.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh, every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Next Chapter Booksellers is the perfect destination for indoor winter activities. Cozy up with a book. They have all the bestsellers and new releases. Plus, their booksellers are great at making recommendations. Beyond books, enjoy mind-bending puzzles and family fun board games for those snowy days. And don't miss Next Chapter's in-store events, book clubs, author signings, and children's story time. So stay busy this winter with Next Chapter Booksellers off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Hi, I'm Jay from Greenhouse Salon and Shop. If your current salon experience feels rushed or impersonal, come feel the difference at Greenhouse. Our artists create personalized styles in a warm, inclusive space, and our shop is full of unique gifts from local women makers. See some of what's in store and book your appointment online at greenhousebrynmar.com. Better yet, stop by 403 Cedar Lake Road South in the quaint Bryn Mawr neighborhood of Minneapolis. Greenhouse, where every client feels cared for.
Theater in the Round Players is kicking off the year with a beautiful new production of How to Catch Creation. It's a soulful drama centered on the powerful legacy of a Black feminist writer from the 1960s. Her story reaches across time, weaving together the lives of 4 artists searching for art, family, and a place to belong. You'll be captivated by this profound exploration of identity. Experience How to Catch Creation at Theater in the Round now through February 8th. Tickets at theaterintheround.org.
Oh, that is the music that I needed. That is the music that I needed right now. You are listening to The Gailey Show. I am John Parker. We are coming up on the top of the hour in studio with my executive producer, Jim Pounds. How do I get this graphic to go away? So before we get to some, we're on a lighter note here today because we've got a lot of theater happening right now and a lot of partners in the Twin Cities, and art is a good way to process emotions. But I do want to say a court update here. The United States Department of Justice is going to appeal a court order limiting ICE agents from using force against protesters. So on Friday, the U.S. District Court said that agents could not arrest, detain, retaliate, or use any type of force, including chemical irritants, against peaceful protesters and observers, because that's the First Amendment and the Constitution. Well, now, and this is hilarious, the Civil Division, I thought I said the Civil Rights Division. I'm sorry, the Department of Justice's Civil Division is going to challenge that and take it up to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit. So obviously we will continue to follow that story. Jim, though, let's transition over to some theatrical news. So I think you have a ticket giveaway too, don't you?
Yeah, let's grab our cell phones or our phones, whatever we use. I want to give you our phone number because we've got 2 things for you to call in about. 952-946-6205. And these are 2 completely different experiences. On the one hand, you have nostalgia and happiness and sort of escape with White Christmas at Chanhassen Dinner Theaters. You know what Chanhassen Dinner Theaters is. It's comfortable, it's cozy, it's traditional, it's nostalgic. And, White Christmas, which runs through February 7th, what you do is you call in to that number, 952-946-6205. We have 2 tickets. And what you do is we send you a coupon. So we're going to get your name, address, and phone number and email, I think. And we will mail this coupon to you. And you then call the ticket office and say, I'd like to go on this date. And if there's tickets available, you can exchange that coupon for those tickets. So these are about $107 a piece. This is a $214 giveaway. The show runs through February 7th. So call in now about White Christmas. We know a couple of people in the show at Chanhassen.
Yeah, it was a good show.
It's like you can't lose. Chanhassen is one of the few things you can count on, right? There's no risk. So the other one is On the Dark Side, which I love. That appeals to me. You can believe that, right? It's a chamber musical called Ride the Cyclone. There's 7 people in the cast. It's a cult favorite. People love this show, but it's not done very often. Lyric Arts is doing it up in Anoka through February 8th. And if you call in now to 952-946-6205, you can get 2 tickets. And I'm going to say for this week, they're going to be for Thursday night. In other words, it won't be a question about what night you go. It's for this Thursday. So if you're looking for something to do on Thursday night, get out of the house, go see this very unusual show about 6 teenagers and a mystic figure. So a mystery sort of musical at Lyric Arts Theater up in Anoka. It's really easy to get there from anywhere in the Twin Cities north. It's really easy to get there. Ride the Cyclone, 952-946-6205. Those tickets are about $57 a piece. So you can have a $214 freebie from AM 950, or you can get a $114 freebie from AM 950 calling 952-946-6205. And there's more to talk about, but that's all the time I've got. So call in now and Patrick will get your name and email.
I want to give those tickets away, folks. So Thursday night, Ride the Cyclone. If you are in Minneapolis in the Twin Cities and you would like to have a night out on us at Lyric Arts, you can call in now, 952-946-6205. Call in, say you want that pair of tickets. First caller will get them. And if you want to go have some good food at Chanhassen and have a night out of it on us, we really want to give that to you, folks, because there's a lot going on right now. So if you would like to have a night out on us at Chanhassen Dinner Theater, 952-946-6205, and you get to pick the date that you go to Chanhassen and have your night out on AM 950 radio. So 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205.
I think you deserve this. That's what I'm going to say. You deserve either one of these two evenings.
There's a lot going on, and I know that it's there's we're news and talk station, and so we're trying to do good news work, to do good journalism, and to do good community building and to build community conversations. That's what we do here at AM 950. But it's also nice when we can work with community partners to give something back, to give something away that gives people a night out. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot going on right now. And for folks who think that you have to stay locked in and dialed in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like you're going to burn yourself out. Don't do that. Like give yourself moments, and don't feel guilty about giving yourself a moment to binge watch, heated rivalry. Don't give yourself burnout. Don't think that it's wrong for you to go to the movies. Like, we can take that time out to be ourselves, just to nourish ourselves, even if it's for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Don't feel guilty if you turn your phone off for, 2 hours a day. It's okay. If you need to take a social media break, it is okay. Like, we are all here. We are all supporting each other. We are all fighting for each other. And that includes MAGA people who don't even know what is in their best interest right now and think that this is the right way to run immigration policy and this is the right way to treat Americans, which is incorrect, obviously incorrect. So I saw someone was happening in there, was calling in there. I can see through the glass here. Patrick, did we give away some of those tickets?
Yes, we have a white Christmas winner, Amy in Minneapolis.
Hey, Amy,
Perfect.
good job.
Congratulations, Amy. I hope you have a great time at Chanhassen Dinner Theater. We're wrapping up on our time here, but we still have that night out at Lyric Arts for Ride the Cyclone, pair of tickets. So even though we're wrapping up here and throwing to the commercial for the day, you can still call in now and get that pair of tickets on us on AM 950, 952-946-6205. Pair of free tickets to go to Ride the Cyclone at Lyric Arts in Anoka this Thursday. That is all for us today on WCPT. Coming up next is Democracy Now! On AM 950. It is the Matt McNeil Show. Stay tuned after that for Native Roots Radio. And then at 10 o'clock tonight, you can see me again on Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken. Until tomorrow at this time, keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Pretty much